You can have the perfect setup and still blow your account if your emotions aren't under control. Hey guys, my name is Forrest. I grew my fortune by trading equity options as well as futures. And in this video, I'm gonna give you the exact mental strategy and framework that you could implement to make you a better trader. Not in the future, I'm talking about right now. Also, because I don't believe in gatekeeping, I'm doing a free webinar on October 30th, 7 p.m. You can go to go.tradingwithforrest.com to secure your spot. It's totally free. I'm giving everything away because I love doing this. So please sign up. I love teaching. It's something I'm extremely passionate about. I love the idea of somebody like really wanting to figure something out and me being able to help them figure that out. It's a huge passion of mine, so I do hope you sign up. My biggest loss was $500,000. And I want to take you on this journey. So I've been trading for about 10 years now, and I had a few back-to-back six-figure wins, okay? There was a period in time where if you've been trading, started trading pretty recently, you may not remember this, but SPACs were really big deals, right? Special purpose acquisition companies, right? And it doesn't really matter why SPACs exist, but the point is they were hot at the time. They were the flavor of the month, and there was a lot of money to be made if you could trade them, if you could be on the right side of the V for these SPAC trades. And I was hitting them back to back. I'm talking about no losses, guys. I was crushing it. I thought that I was invincible. You've probably been there yourself, right? You have a win, you have a win, you have a win. I've had some pretty crazy hot streaks. I was in Egypt, it's 3 weeks, about a month, having a blast, okay? I saw the pyramids, I saw a ton of pyramids, went to museums, things like that, rode a camel, almost broke my thumb on a camel.
What's your name?
Forrest. Nice to meet you, Khalid.
But one day, I've had this footage for so long, I've never shared it. I lost $500,000 in like minutes, and it's because of greed.
What's up, guys? So I'm in Siwa. It's a super sick view, so I'm recording it. Basically, there's a stock called ESSC. I had 335 options, $12.50 calls. There was a gamma squeeze, it ran up. I basically turned 77 grand into like 600 grand. But then I got greedy, I chased, didn't take my gains, the stock collapsed, and I watched my account value go from like $600,000 all the way back down to the original 77. So, well, my account's not at 77,000, but the money that I invested went back to its original value. So I left a lot of money on the table. Gonna try to make it back today. Gonna be really tough though because I have no signal.
It was an unrealized loss technically, but I had a trade go from my basis was like 38K up to over $500,000. And then I really wanted it to go to $1 million. And because I was winning and winning and winning, I thought I could do no wrong. And what happened is I watched it go from 580K to 480 to 380 to 280. And because I'm in the desert, like with no connection, it was just enough of connection to watch the value go down. I could not get out of this trade, guys. And I felt like such a freaking idiot. I felt dumb. I felt like, man, I'm trash. I wasted this opportunity. I can't believe I did this. I immediately started thinking about all the things I could have bought with $500,000 at that point in time. My whole mentality went into shambles. I was crushed. I didn't trade for months after that. I took a break, guys. I straight up took a break. I did not trade for months because I felt really defeated. I did not feel good. I felt like successful traders and the people that I wanted to be like didn't make mistakes how I made them. I felt like I was uniquely bad. I felt like I should just quit and maybe I shouldn't do it again. Maybe it's not for me. And I said all that in the context of being someone who had back-to-back-to-back wins and had lost all that money in a trade, right? I was at the point where I could even lose that. So it doesn't really matter where you are as a trader. You can always get yourself beaten up psychologically if you ever get too greedy amongst a few other things. So let's talk about the 3 major psychological traps: revenge trading, overconfidence, and hesitating. I know it sounds crazy. Some of those are kind of vice versa of each other or contradictory of each other, but there's context around each of them and it's really important to understand. So let's talk about revenge trading and when it most commonly happens. So I see this a lot in my students. They come to me with a problem. The problem is that they just lost money. They went into a trade, it didn't work out. They want to know what they should do next. They're in revenge mode. They need to make it back. You can't fix a losing trade, okay? I can't go back and redo that trade that I lost money on. That trade will literally never happen again. Now, there are similar trades and other opportunities that'll happen. Of course they will. They happen all the time. Go to Reddit, Wall Street Bets, you can see people making and losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. But you cannot fix a trade. This is really important too. I want you guys to think about a day. I want you to open up a chart right now, and I want you to think about the story of a day. Okay, 9:30 a.m. Bing, market opens. Okay, you're sitting there from 9:30 to 10. You get the 10 a.m. close, and maybe you took an orb breakout trade. Okay, it's a strategy. I'm not really fond of the orb. Whatever, people do it. You lose money on your orb. It's a day where it doesn't work out. So now your goal on the day has shifted from trading a thesis and a plan to making money back that you lost. And the problem is that the market doesn't care if you lost money, because the market might only make one wave, consolidate heavily into lunch, and then barely move again into the close, right? Maybe it's a very low VIX day and there's a tier 1 data event the next day, and you're not focused or thinking about all of that because you want revenge. You need to make your money back. Okay. Now, what can you do about this? A very simple way to handle this is to have tangible kind of items that represent your trades, as well as the outcome of your trade. So I've often talked about my sticky note strategy. Okay, this is the thing I recommend to everybody who overtrades or just has general risk management problems. Get some sticky notes. Okay, you'll have 3 sticky notes. And at most, you could take 3 trades in a day. And every time you take a trade, you get a sticky, you crumble it up, throw it in the trash. Take another trade, get a sticky, crumble it up, throw it in the trash. Take another trade, get a sticky, crumble it up, throw it in the trash. Now, you could take a 4th trade, but because you don't have the sticky to take the trade, there is another roadblock. There is a reminder that you're doing something wrong. I can tell you right now, there's no reason to be taking more than 3 trades a day if you're trading like me. Okay, most of my trades, again, I hold for hours. They're, especially in this environment, hundreds of points. If you're taking more than 3 trades a day, it's because you're over trading or you're revenge trading. You're focused not on trading ideas, but on trying to make money back. Let's talk about the second psychological trap, overconfidence. So again, my story, I was extremely overconfident, lost $500,000. Man, this is a tough one. So all emotions in trading are bad, guys. You do not want to be euphoric, nor do you want to be super fearful. You want to be calmly confident. You want to be certain in an outcome because it's based off of data, it's based off of your research, okay? It's based off of journaling, it's based off of the fact that you have thousands of repetitions in, and you're treating it like poker. You want to sit down at a poker table and be overconfident with a pair of 7s. It doesn't make any sense, right? Or a pair of 3s or something like that, right? You want at least a higher card if you're going to play, even a pair of aces. You know, you want to wait for the flop, right? You need to be confident, calmly confident, because the data supports your hand. You shouldn't be calmly confident because you made money yesterday and the day before that. You should be confident because of how you made money yesterday and the day before that. Okay. Now, if you flip a quarter and you get heads twice in a row, you shouldn't be confident that you're going to get heads again. And that's what happens to some of you guys. You get lucky, and then you get lucky, and then you get lucky, and then you get unlucky. But because your emotional state is tied to the outcome of your trades, your day is ruined. You've lost money and your day is ruined. You take it out on your wife, you take it out on your kids, you take it out on your peers at work, take it out on yourself. You're hard on yourself. And that's because instead of your emotions being tied to having a plan and a strategy and executing that plan and strategy and getting one step closer to mastering this thing that we call day trading, instead it's tied to a binary outcome of win or loss. It's not even tied to how much you won or lost. Think about that. It doesn't matter how much you won or lost. It's just tied to did I win or lose money? And it's very, very fickle. Okay, so overconfidence is just as bad as fear. Okay, not being able to stay in a trade because you're afraid is just as bad as staying in a trade because you think you can do no wrong. If you're overly confident, like me, you will get burned. Okay, go read the story of Icarus. That was me. I got fried up. It was bad. I don't want that for any of y'all. So what can we do about it? This video is all about actual strategies. I don't want to just preach at you about stories, though they're interesting and entertaining, and I hope you enjoyed my story of losing $500,000 in a day. But you need to have kind of reset strategies, okay? Go for a walk, go outside, step away from the market. If you feel like your heart is racing every time you're at your desk, okay, you're in a trade and you're in this like hyper, like it feels like you're driving a freaking race car, even though you're sitting in a chair watching colors go up and down on your screen. It's not the same thing, okay? You need to relax and get up, go for a walk, okay? Get some exercise, relax, and realize that the market isn't going anywhere. It's going to be here every single day. And if you're on a hot streak, you need to understand that you are building momentum towards something, and that might be a really big blow up day. If you have done that before, if you've had a cycle where you had a green day, and you actually wiped out all of those days of losses in one day, then this is really, really important to you. I'm speaking to you right now. You need to have resets and or days off from the markets when you're on a hot streak. Maybe if you have 3 green days in a row, 4 green days in a row, or a green week, you take at least 2 days off. Hell or high water, doesn't matter what's happening in the market, doesn't matter what the setup is, you take the days off, because when you look at your data and whatever trade, performance tool you're looking at, you know that you enter this euphoric state. Or if you do want to get your chart time in, okay, and this is something I used to do, I would not trade, I would just paper trade on those days. And I would see how I would actually manage the day had I traded. And what I found by doing that is that I slowly was able to continue to increase my win streaks, because I could see how what I would have done, which was get riskier and riskier by paper trading. So by paper trading, I could see, oh yeah, I actually do get a little riskier as I get confident. I need to stop doing that. I need to be way more patient. I need to lean back in my chair and relax. Okay, just relax. So here's the last thing. This is the last psychological trap that a lot of traders run into. I said you have to be calmly confident. If you hesitate, you will miss the A trades. You will. When you're dealt a good hand, you have to play. Now, I could do a whole video on leverage and dynamic risk and all that goes into this. So I'm just going to say it quickly. When you have a good hand, you have to put your chips in. You need to put more chips in. It doesn't make sense to wait around for a really good setup and then, to put $5 in. Okay. You got to lever up. You need to use some dynamic risk. But again, this is all in the context of you having data, journaling, reps in, and all of this that should support you doing that. If you in the future came back and said, hey, why did you, go long at this level at this time? There needs to be, because it checks off, my 7 boxes in the system. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, you trade the VPE system? Me too. Cool. And it should make sense. And when you look back at your trade notes, at the trades that you took, it should make sense why you took the trades. The reason that you're hesitating more often than not, and this is what I see in traders, okay, is you sit at your desk every day, day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, but you're not taking notes, you're not journaling. So that's what you're going to start to do. You're going to start journaling. And what's going to happen is one day you won't take a trade, but you're going to write down what you thought and what happened. The second day you won't take a trade, but you're going to write down what you thought and what happened. The third day, you're not going to take the trade, but you're going to write down what you thought and what happened. So on and so forth. You get to the second week and you notice something very interesting in the second week is that this Monday looks very similar to Tuesday. It's just a little compressed, but you're so certain that this setup just happened on Tuesday. It's almost insane how similar it is. And you're looking at your notes and you're looking at your thought process and you look at what happened on Tuesday and it's the next week, Monday, and you don't hesitate at all. You get in, and that's how you fix that problem. You have to be a master at collecting data, journaling, testing ideas. You have to write your ideas down and you have to test them, right? You can test them on paper. You can test them just by writing them, whatever it is, paper trade, whatever it is. Test your freaking ideas. Write down what happened. Write down your thought process. Write down your why. Write down the outcome. And you're going to start to develop your own. My VPE is literally just from me doing that, guys. It's just a system for me taking notes a couple thousand times. And then I put a 3-letter acronym on it, straight up. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But it's just me collecting data for years and years and years. So I want to wrap this video up by talking about what it means to be consistent. Consistency isn't willpower, okay? You can't be really consistent in your willpower. You can't really be consistent in your motivation, okay? Or even in a lot of things, your health. There's so many things that you can't be consistent in. What you can be consistent in is your approach, okay? What you can be consistent in is the small things, okay, outside of actually trading that all go into trading, right? So some of that is your health, like fitness, like going to the gym, drinking water, getting good sleep as best as you can, planning, okay, using strategies that you know work, but you're avoiding them because you know if you started doing them, you'd have to admit to the fact that you're acting badly, like using the sticky note strategy. Some people I told that, I'm like, hey, use the sticky note strategy, but they just resist it because they know if they did it, it would actually address the problem, but they don't want to fix the problem. You want to be validated. I'm not validating you, okay? Use the tools that you know will work to solve your problem. Use them, put them to work, okay? Test them out, use them. They will work. Doing all of that consistently will make you a consistently profitable trader. I promise. Chart time too is important. So chart time is important, but it's not going to make up for all of the other stuff. Okay. How many times have you sat at the chart and you saw an amazing setup, but you just blew your account up? You just had the worst day ever. Okay. But you're not journaling. You don't do anything out of sit at your desk and be on this emotional roller coaster. Okay. Trading is 80% mindset, 20% charts. And you're putting 100% into the charts, which is why you're missing most of what makes people successful at this game. So if discipline and control are your missing links, join me at my free futures trading masterclass. It is October 30th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be talking about this as well as all my setups and really everything that has made me into a successful trader. Again, I'm passionate about this. Subscribe to my channel, please. We just hit 19,000. Let's get to 20,000 subs. It's actually insane that it's still growing in the midst of everything that's happening in my life right now. You know, the move Miami, I'm finally in my office filming here, which is cool. So much stuff is happening. Yeah, anyways, subscribe. See you in the next video. Peace.